Hey, welcome to this week's episode of More Than Anxiety. I'm so glad you're here today. If we've not met before, my name is Megan DeVito. I am a coach and I help women work through overwhelm, stress, and anxiety so that they can start putting down boundaries in their lives and actually hold those boundaries that they create so they can have more energy and time for their family, their friends, and to be successful in their jobs. And really just to get out there and feel confident in their life, to do the things they want to do, to be successful and to have a good time too. I think it's all about balance. It's all about a holistic approach to looking at every part of your life. So, I want to talk to you today about summer because when you're listening to this, we're we're getting to the middle, to the almost to the what, second third of July. And I don't know what happened. I feel like my kid just graduated from high school and that we just started summer. And to be honest with you, school starts in less than a month when you're listening to this, at least where I live. So I want to talk to you about how to really enjoy the rest of what summer has to offer you without feeling like you can't take your foot off the gas in your job or anything else. So let's talk about where the heck did summer go and how can I grab a hold of it before it's completely gone? Because it is going to go fast. They were not joking when they said time flies when you get older. It does. And I don't understand what happens. It's like warp speed turned on. So I know that feeling of always thinking like time is slipping away. One of the things I hear so much on social media is this: you only get 18 summers, which is not true, by the way. My oldest just turned 25 and we still hang out in the summer. We just went away with our family to the lake for the weekend and had such a great time. So if you are listening to this as a young mom and you're like, but 18 isn't that many, it's not true. It's not true. But I do want to offer that for those 18 summers, while your kids are sort of under your roof and where you have a little more control of their time, I want you to be able to enjoy it to the max without having to worry about running out of summers, which, as I've said twice now, really isn't a thing, but also without having to put work in front of your family life because nobody wants to do that. So, yes, I know you can feel like time is slipping away, that there's so much to do. I mean, I said I was going to paint the kitchen. I was going to take this crap to Goodwill. Oh my gosh, I've got this upcoming thing happening in my job. I can't do anything. I don't even get to go like hang out and be in the sunshine. Let's find time for the things that you want to do and for the things you need to do. So, when we talk about school schedules, we talk about responsibilities that you have at work and all the things that feel like they're stealing your time. We need to put some constraint around those, but we also want to put some organization with them as well. So, when we talk about this shift in time and how we're going to make it happen, I really want to talk to you about my new audio course. It's called Less Overwhelm, More Life. And it really helps you create more time in a short 5 day audio course. So you might say, wait a second, you just said you're going to create more time and I already have too much on my to do list, but now you're telling me about this whole 5 day course thing. Yes, but hold on for 1 second. This audio course, yes, is 5 emails, one a day for 5 days. The audios are only 6 to 8 minutes long. You can listen to them in the shower. You can listen to them while you're getting dinner around. You can listen to them while you're commuting for work, whatever it is. You got to go weed the garden, put in your earbuds and listen to it. 6 to 8 minutes. And every day, I'm going to give you an action step that takes something off of your to do list or off of your calendar so that you automatically are going to have more time, more energy, and more space to get clear on what you want, what's important to you. Anyways, we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But I know that for right now, the idea of what you have on your list is probably feeling a little overwhelming. Like, how did all of this get on here when it's supposed to be summer? I'm supposed to be able to relax. Or how am I supposed to be successful at my job and have fun with my kids? So, I am going to talk about lists. But if you are groaning because you're like, I hate lists, like my list is the problem, or if you're thinking that like I don't even make lists because they feel so awful, let's talk about those things because I've been there. Before I was a life coach, before I was working out of my house, I was a teacher and I raised 4 kids with a husband who worked like 60 hours a week. So I was not a single mom, but I was virtually a single mom. And the fact that like he was not home when my kids were awake most of the time. And I was very blessed to have my parents not too far by, but I didn't see them every single day. They weren't babysitting my kids for me. I was balancing work, I was balancing my kids, and I was still teaching. And I was coaching swim. So I understand what it's like to have a really, really jam packed schedule and to feel like you can't get everything done. For years, I resisted making lists because one of my top values is freedom of time. I like to be able to say, of course, I can meet you for lunch. Absolutely, I can help you move. Yes, I would love to be able to do this. I'm going to go to work today, and tomorrow I'm going to do this. That's a big deal for me. It's part of why I moved out of the classroom. And so for me, at that point in time, I resisted lists. So I want to give you a couple of reasons why making another list might feel absolutely disgusting to you. One of them is what I just said, feeling constrained or trapped by your list. If you feel like it's holding you to a rigid routine that you absolutely hate, like if I make this list, I'm stuck. I have to follow the list. If I put it on my calendar, I just can't stand to be stuck in these feelings of what I think I have to do when I already have too much to do. And I get that. Like I told you, I really like the flexibility. And for me, that list felt like it was a noose around my neck. Okay. Another reason you might really resist making lists is this idea of everything on the list seems to get longer. The list never shrinks. It's like I just keep doing more, but the list keeps growing. You never actually finish what's on it, right? You're just there adding more to it because something keeps popping up. That could be another reason. And that does happen. I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, you create your list. So when you tell me you don't that I don't know your list, that is true. I do not. But I also know that you're the one that made it. And I'm not saying that to be facetious, but honestly, he makes his list, you make your list, I make my list. Another thing that can happen when you think about making a list is really feeling overwhelmed or judging yourself. The list itself kind of becomes a source of stress that leads you to feeling like you're a hot mess because why are all these things on the list? Why can't I cross them off? So it might make you feel very judgy about who you are and your ability to be successful if you're not knocking every single thing off every single day. So what happens if you don't have a list though? Because there's two sides to this. You can hate it and still need it. And when you learn to use them correctly and in a way that I'm going to teach you in just a minute, they make all the difference in the world. So if you don't have a list, when you avoid them, you start to feel really scattered and disconnected. This was me. As much as I love freedom and flexibility of my time, I also felt scattered and disconnected and distracted because I was constantly trying to remember everything in my head. I'd run late. I'd forget meetings. I would forget that I started the laundry and that I needed to change it over because I was raising four kids. I was doing two jobs. I was doing all the things, trying to make dinner. And not making the list was actually making me have less time because I was always running behind or trying to remember where I left off. The other thing that can happen is it can make you less productive and feel more anxious because when you're scattered, when you're late for meetings, when you space the appointment, if your kid's like, but mom, you said we could go do this today, or your boss is like, hello, the project was due last week, and you're like, oh, I don't make lists. Suddenly you're anxious because what happened? How did I forget that? Why can't I remember everything? You have to go back and redo things, which takes more time, or you have to try and squeeze things into the nooks and crannies of your life, and you don't really have any. So this idea is kind of batshit crazy, right? It's like, I hate the list. I love the list. I need the list. I don't want the list. And I get that. So what we want to do is we want to find a way to make you feel less overwhelmed so that you've got more flow in your life. So what we want to do first is we really want to identify what your values are. And by values, I mean your personal values, not I really value going to the grocery alone. That might be one of your values, alone time, and that's great. But we want to get really specific on what it is that motivates you, what comes down to your core. Like these things are non negotiable. For me, it is freedom of time. I love that. And family time is very huge. And so my freedom of time coincides very much with my family time. Like they're coming first. 100%, because I want them to. Yours may be something different. It might be volunteering at the Humane Society. It may be like I have to, like, I really, really value being able to go look at art, take walks in nature, whatever it is, spirituality. It's all good. But you have to know what's important to you first. These become your non negotiables. And this is really about aligning the actions and the things that you want to put on your to do list, or if you were to create a to do list, that line up with the things that you're like, this isn't a box check, this is a thing. Like, this is me. So, what we want to do is know those first. This is something that I help people do all the time when we're working together with, like, if I'm their coach. I can also do a boundaries and balance audit with you, where we can start to see what some of your values are there. That audit is totally free. You can find that at my website. It's just megandevito.com. It's the very first page that pops up. You can schedule a free boundaries and balance audit with me. It's a super great way to look at all areas of your life again and see what's working, what's not, and where you need to focus your attention. So that's a great way also to start a list. The second idea is that we want to create a list that works for you and not against you. Your list should not feel like a straitjacket. You shouldn't feel confined. You shouldn't feel trapped. It should be a flexible guide, like bumpers. If you are bowling and you don't know how to make the ball go straight, they put the bumpers up and you kind of ping pong off of it. That's the way your list should be. It should give you flexibility. It couldn't survive without it. It should give you flexibility, but also allow you to be successful and move forward. So we want to make sure that we're creating a list that works for you and not against you. So let's talk about the size of your list. Because if you're like my husband, or if you're like a lot of people, and even me some days, your list feels way, way, way too long because you're putting everything under the sun on it. What we want to do is we want to focus on your non negotiables first. This goes back to the idea of finding your values. So you know your values and you add those to your list first. It's the best way to do it. These are my values. These are the things that align with my values. Only put those things on your list. And that may only be 3 things a day. Perfect. That's great. Or maybe you're like me and you make a weekly list. I have my weekly list right here. I'm going to show it to you right now in case you're watching the video. This is it. I am a paper and pencil girl. I write everything for the entire week down here and I chunk it up into, this is what I have to do for my podcast. This is what I have to do for my newsletter. This is what I have to do for my clients. This is what I have to do for social media. Boom, boom, boom. It's my entire week on one page. One page for my entire week. It comes out to about 3, maybe 4 things a day. That's all. That's manageable. When you put those things on first, it allows the other areas or the other tinier things in your life to start falling in the cracks. And because you've scheduled the non-negotiables first, it makes those cracks there it allows those cracks to exist, so you have more time for the things like, ugh, yeah, I have to change over the laundry, or, oh yeah, I was going to run to the store because I wanted to make tacos for dinner. Whatever it is, you have that time because you've created a manageable list. You're not scattered and trying to chase everything down at once. And then another idea that I want you to consider is, if a to-do list is like, oh my God, don't tell me what to do, let's make a to-done list. A to-done list is something that you can do at night before bed. This is something that I started years ago because my grandmother made a list. I found these when I was at her apartment one day before she had passed, and I noticed she had all of these calendar diaries. And for years, and by years I mean like 50, she had written down like the weather. My grandfather was a farmer. Maybe she wrote down like the price of corn, maybe what she ate for dinner. It was very sweet and endearing, and I loved it. So I kind of adopted it as my own. And I started writing down, actually, without going too far into the weeds here, I started writing down a bunch of things about how my body felt because I had very, very bad health anxiety for about 30 years. I worked my way out of an anxiety disorder partly by doing this practice. You can work your way out of overwhelm and stress by doing this. What I want you to do is write down one thing that you're grateful for every night before you go to bed. I do it every night. It takes 2 minutes to do this. Have a little calendar next to your bed. This is what I'm grateful for. I like to write down things that went well for me every single day, at least one. And I would even focus just on one, because when you make your brain choose one thing, suddenly you see a ton of things that went well. And you're like, oh, I just get to pick one? Which was the best thing? So we really want to pare it down to these are the things I got done. And by the end of the week, you're going to say, look at all these things that went well that I accomplished this week. And instead of saying these are the things I need to do, you get to celebrate and motivate yourself by seeing these are the things that I did. So there's different ways to do this, obviously. You can do it in a way that works best for you. I like to say what worked, what didn't work, and what I'll do differently tomorrow. You might just make a list of everything you accomplished for the day if that's what you need. But a done list allows you to say, hey, look at me getting these things done. And maybe that becomes a list for you every single day so that you can celebrate instead of having that bucket list that might feel overwhelming. We are just creating gratitude, which is very motivating, just in a different way than a to-do list. If you are a box checker like I am, you can check things off of your to-done list. You can say, I did that, check. I did that, check. There's something about that check mark. Super addictive. I've been known to add things to my list just to check them or cross them off. That's okay. If that motivates you, go for it. Because what we're looking for here in all of this is more time and the motivation to get things done and still be able to do the things we want to do. Now, this to-done list does not have to be completely focused on your job. I would actually say that if you took your kids to the pool or you went and helped your neighbor shop for her husband's birthday, whatever it is that lights you up, that goes on your list. It's all about what you're grateful for and what you wanted to do for the day. Some of their wants are going to be needs like work, or I want to be successful in this job, or I want to be able to do these things. I want to be able to clean out my closet. Put it on the list. It's not about what's on the list. It's about you celebrating what you're doing so that you have more motivation the next day. So when you start being intentional, a lot of things start to change in your life. One of the things that starts to change is that you feel really good about your time. You start to feel more in control of your time rather than feeling like your time is controlling you. So that list, instead of feeling like a straitjacket, starts to feel very open and free, and like you get to choose how you spend your time. This is really important because we know that burnout and overwhelm are at all-time highs. People are stressed and anxious. And I talked recently about the infinite workday, which I think is the worst thing in the world. This takes away from that and creates more of a life for you. It also allows you to celebrate your accomplishments and to see that you were successful so that you start to shift in what you think you can do and what you are actually already doing. You don't have to wait for that. You get to celebrate it now. You get to celebrate your successes at work and you celebrate your successes at home. And you get to be really present in your personal life because you have more time. You're not feeling like you're always thinking about the next thing on your to-do list. This is a really important thing. I want this balance for you. It is so important. Yes, you can still be amazingly, overwhelmingly successful at work and have a personal life. I know that feels scary. One of the things that happens when we start throwing more things on our list is because we feel anxious or stressed about not doing enough. This is what I help people work through when I'm working with them as their coach. We can talk again about that audio course. We can talk about one-on-one coaching, and we can talk about both of those things on a boundaries and balance audit. All the links are in the show notes. So if you are looking for more joy, if you are looking for more peace, more time, more energy, and more success, you have to start writing down the things that are most valuable to you and celebrating what you're already doing. Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to feel really, really good? This is the door to the end of your summer, right? This is you being able to have more lake days and more chances to go outside and just sit and maybe do a night swim, or days just to be able to take a walk, or if it's a rainy day, to lay on your couch and hang out with your family, to go have lunch with your friends while you're killing it at your job, while your house is organized, while you're like, dang, I am like killing this mom thing. You know what? This is amazing. Like, I love what I do. This is where it comes from. So let's talk a little bit more about less overwhelm. Overwhelm is anything that is stealing your mental energy, your physical energy, or your emotional energy. You can be emotionally overwhelmed, physically overwhelmed, and mentally overwhelmed. And you can be all three of those things at the same time. If you want less of that and more time for what is important to you, check out my 5-day or audio course. It's only $49. You can grab it. You get one email, one 8-minute audio, and one action step to remove something from your life for 5 days in a row. After that, if you want to take it a step forward, let's talk about coaching. But for right now, let's start breaking those old habits. And yes, thoughts are habits. Let's start breaking those habits that are keeping you stuck, repeating the same patterns of overworking, overgiving, and start finding gratitude and space. All right. So I will be back again next week. I hope to see you on my audio course this week. I can't wait to get started with you. And I would love to hear what you think. Leave a comment on this video if you're watching it on YouTube. Leave a review on wherever you listen to your podcast so more people can find the help that they need. Let's get everything straightened out so the entire world can take a collective breath, start living their best lives. And that's how things change, guys. Thanks for listening. I love being here, and I will be back again next week. Take care.